and welcome to Makeup by Mon. I'm going to be sharing my tips for buying Louis Vuitton in Europe. So let's get started. I purchased my Speedy 30 bandolier in the Damier Ebene print from the flagship store in let's see if I can say it correctly, Champs-Élysées, I think that's how you say it, which was in Paris. And I got this just a few months ago when we went to Europe. And I wanted to share some of my thoughts on purchasing Louis Vuitton in Europe and some tips that I have if you're contemplating doing the same. So first of all, I love Louis Vuitton. I grew up having a love for it because a few of my really close family members, they are lovers of Louis Vuitton, and I would always see their purses, and I fell in love with the quality of them and the craftsmanship of them. And there's Louis Vuitton stores everywhere. I grew up in Houston, and there's a beautiful Louis Vuitton store that's in the Galleria if you're from that area, and I was just always amazed by it. And as I grew up, I knew eventually I would want a Louis Vuitton. My first Louis Vuitton is the Neverfull in the MM. I think that's the one that is, it's a medium-sized one, Neverfull. And I love that. I got it in the classic monogram, and I got that when we went to Europe 2 years previously. So I knew we were going back to Europe, and I knew I wanted to get another Louis Vuitton. And so I did a lot of research. So I want to share some of my tips for you, and I wrote them all down. So my first tip for you, if you want to purchase in Europe at Louis Vuitton, is to arrive early at whatever Louis Vuitton store you want to go to. So the thing is, they typically get shipments pretty early in the morning, and when you go to a Louis Vuitton store, especially the more high profile ones, like the one specifically in Paris, the flagship one, which is, you know, like 4 or 5 levels, it's huge. They usually have a line around the store in the morning as they open up. So people get there in line. Sometimes people bring suitcases because they buy multiple bags and then they go and they resell them. So if you don't get there early enough, there are gonna be people before you that are gonna buy a ton of bags, and it might be the bag that you wanted, because some of the bags are limited quantities, especially if it's a specialty bag. I really wanted the Pochette Matisse in the classic monogram or the reverse monogram, and we went to 4 different Louis Vuitton stores around Europe where we were, and none of them had it. So they said they had gotten one like the day before or the day after. They said it's very uncertain when they get shipments of certain purses. So in order for you to have a better chance, my suggestion is for you to arrive early, and it just, again, gives you a better chance of getting what you want. My second tip for purchasing Louis Vuitton in Europe is to enjoy the perks. So Louis Vuitton is definitely a luxury brand. It's a luxury store. When you go in, you'll feel that. There are sales reps everywhere, and it can kind of be overwhelming. So enjoy the perks. They will offer you champagne, they'll offer you soda, they'll offer you water, sparkling water, really whatever you want to drink within reason, you know? And so I definitely enjoyed the complimentary champagne. It just made the experience a lot more luxurious, knowing that I had saved my money and really worked towards wanting to purchase a purse. And just making the most of that and making it memorable, I think, is important. Tip number 3 for buying Louis Vuitton in Europe would be to know what you want and do your research beforehand. So I knew that I needed to have at least a top 3 of items that I wanted to purchase, because I knew if they didn't have what I wanted, I needed to have a next option and another option, because there are many, many, many perks for buying Louis Vuitton in Europe specifically, which I can talk about at the end. But I had a top 3, so my first was the Pochette Matisse. I really, really wanted that, but I knew that it was going to be hard to find, because even going to Louis Vuitton around where I live, they said that it's super, super hard to find. There's a wait list for it. So I knew that that would be hard, but that was my number 1 that I wanted to try to find. My second choice was getting a Speedy bandolier with the strap, and I wanted it in Damier Ebene. If they didn't have that, then I wanted the Crocette. I want to say that's how you say it. And if I got the Crocette, I wanted it in the Damier, not the Damier Graphite. the white one. It looks like Damier Ben, but it's in white. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. So I knew that those were my top 3. I knew that the Speedy was probably the best shop because the Speedy is the original, like it's one of their most popular purses. And they typically have it because it is so popular, kind of like the Neverfull. They usually have those in stock. So just doing your research, know what you want, because there's a very good chance they might be sold out of one of the options that you want. So just know what you want. It makes it easier also when you go into the store and I've never gone into any Louis Vuitton and there's been nobody in there. There's always people in there. So if you know what you want, when you finally get to a sales rep, it's a lot easier for them to help you if you know specifically what you want, because they can go straight and get it, because it takes a while for them to go all the way up to the stock room or the showroom, wherever they're getting it from. So it makes it easier on you. My number 4 tip for buying Louis Vuitton, if you happen to be in Europe, is to have your passport or a picture of it, because you're gonna need your passport number. So specifically, if you buy Louis Vuitton in Europe, at least where I bought it, you fill out some sort of tax form, right? And whenever you fill it out, it asks you for your passport number. And once you bought Louis Vuitton previously, they have your info in the system, your address, your phone number, that kind of stuff. But your passport number is specifically if you're buying it overseas. And I'm American and was buying it from Europe. So it just makes it a lot easier if you already have that info with you. I luckily knew that they were gonna ask for it, and we had a picture of our passport number and our passport on our phones. So it made it a lot easier. So make sure you have that because you wanna make sure you get that VAT check or the VAT cash if that's what you're doing. And I can explain that at the end. My tip number 5 would be to hot stamp on site, specifically if you're at the Champs-Élysées store. So they do hot stamping at quite a few Louis Vuitton stores. Not every Louis Vuitton will do it, but hot stamping is a sight to see. It is such, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like artistry at its best to see it happen in front of you. It's such a cool machine. It's such a cool method to do it. And I think it's special and it makes the experience even better. So I got my initials on it. As you can see, I'm a lover of the gold stamping. I just love it, especially with the gold hardware. This I got separately, but it was so nice to be able to see it, and it just, I recommend monogramming, especially if you know you're not gonna sell it and it's gonna be yours or a family heirloom. Like I intend to someday give that to my child. And so it made it a lot better experience, if that makes any sense. And you wanna see them hot stamped because it's so cool. It's such a cool thing. Let's see, my number 6 would be to always choose your VAT to go back to your credit card. And you're probably thinking, what's a VAT? It stands for something in particular. Google it. You'll be able to see. And I choose the credit card option, and we did this previously when I bought Louis Vuitton a few years ago, because you get more if you do credit card, you get less if you do cash. So think of this like if you go to a resale shop and you are selling your clothes, you know how they always offer you more if you're like, I'll take it on a gift card, or do you want cash? They'll always offer you more if you'll take it on a gift card versus cash. So think of it similar to that. So we always get the VAT put back on our credit card that we purchased the bag with, than getting it cash. And you don't get that on site. You have to do that at the airport as you're leaving whatever country you either purchased it from, or your final destination country that you're leaving. So I would recommend that. And then my tip number 7 would be to make sure that you have a lot of time to spare. So the whole experience for me, when I bought this one in particular, it took around the hour-and-a-half mark. And you're probably thinking that's a long time, and it really is, because there are tons of people there. There had to be at least 50 to 75 people shopping in that store while I was there. There were maybe like 20 sales reps. That's just a guesstimate. But like I said, it takes a while. It's a process. They have to find you the purse. They have to make sure they have it in stock. Then they have to make sure there's something wrong with the purse. They have to do your credit card. They have to put your information. They have to get your passport number. Then they have to get it in line to get hot stamps if there's people before you. It's a long process. So make sure that you have time for it. Like at least allot yourself an hour. Don't go knowing that you have to go super quick. Don't. It's just, even whenever we went super early, because we went to a few Louis Vuittons, and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law both bought Louis Vuitton on a different day at the same store, first thing as it opened. It was still at least an hour to do it all. So just make sure you keep that in mind when you go to a store like this, especially if you're going to a flagship store of a luxury brand. I did get one other Louis Vuitton item when I was at the flagship store in Paris. So again, I got my Speedy bandolier in Damier Ben, the size 30. And I also had been eyeing a wallet, and this is the Josephine wallet. I knew I wanted a wallet. I had saved all my money in my piggy bank. I talked about this previously whenever I got my 6 key holder from Louis Vuitton and my Clé de Peau from Louis Vuitton. That's typically how I save for my luxury purchases. It may sound silly to some, but I just save any change I have. If I sell anything, like if I go through my closet and sell my clothes, if I have a garage sale, any little things like that, I would save my money in a piggy bank, and then I would count it up, you know, in 9 months, a year, see how much I have, and then that would determine what I could buy. So oddly enough, I had around $350 to $400 in my piggy bank after a year, and I knew I wanted a wallet. And so this is what I got also when I was at the Louis Vuitton in Paris. It's a Josephine wallet. It is beautiful. It comes with a little coin bag inside also, which I think is cool, because if you just wanted to take this, you could. It's really flat, kind of similar to what comes in the Neverfull, the little clutch that comes in the Neverfull. But I bought this as well. So those are my recommendations. What a VAT is, it's basically, you get it back. It's kind of like tax that you get back because you don't live in that country, so you don't have to pay those taxes. Hopefully I explained that correctly. So it ends up being cheaper to buy in a different country because you're getting that money back, and the conversion rate's a little bit different. So that's why I knew that I was gonna get Louis Vuitton, because I knew that we were gonna have that opportunity to do it and make it a little bit more of a, I'm not gonna say affordable, because Louis Vuitton is not affordable. Maybe to some people, but not to me. But just a little more bearable price. It's definitely luxury, so you definitely need to do your homework on it, see what you really want, because it's an investment. But if you like these tips and tricks, or if you love Louis Vuitton, if you have any questions about my experience specifically, comment down below. But I would love to see you subscribe, and if you like this, please give it a thumbs up. Hope to see you again. Bye.